look at me, I don't need to fit in. Stand up if you give a damn.
Welcome to 30 Things once again, and today's episode is hopefully going to put me in a better light than the last two have. Talking about pet peeves and talking about my weaknesses definitely made me feel like a bit of a prickly, not so nice person, but hopefully this will redeem me slightly, because today's topic is talking about 5 strengths. Now, I thought it was interesting, and as far as a strength is concerned, I, I don't think of being like having a strength at something is necessarily something that you're good at. Particularly, I was trying to think of things that sort of come from within inside you, as opposed to just things that I can do, like acrobatics, which actually I can't do that, so that's a very bad example. But stuff like that, like not physical things or like tricks or whatever like that. No, no, just like personality traits, I suppose. So I did my best. The first personality trait that I pulled that I think is quite true about me that I consider a strength is that I'm quite passionate. Like once I'm into something, I'm like kind of, I don't want to say a fanatic, that makes it sound like obsessive, but I just mean like I'm very, very into it. Like I don't do things half-assed, I suppose you could say. Like with gay rights, I went all the way. Or when I was into the Titanic, I mean, I have a bunch of books that my dad got me about it. I literally knew everything. It wasn't just like I knew a bit and I liked it. It's like, no, I know everything about it. Or like World War II, I was like that as well. And most recently, I've been keeping up with the Luca Rocco Magnotta case pretty much religiously. I don't really know why, but I'm quite passionate about that as well. Just for That's another topic for another day. But I'm quite interested in that as well, and I've like really, really made sure I've kept up with stuff like that. So I'm usually in the know about all the things that I'm very passionate about, and I kind of go the full mile. And I don't just talk the talk, I will walk the walk. If I say I'm really into something, I am really into something. But that's not the point of being a fanatic, I don't think. Right. The second thing that's sort of a personality trait of mine is speech, which sort of sounds contradictory to what I said before about like it being something I can do. But what I mean by speech is just the fact that I can really talk to anybody um, about anything. To be perfectly honest, like I might get into an argument with them about it, but I can certainly talk to them. Like I'm not shy. I know that one of the number one fears on a lot of people's list is public speaking. I was never afraid of talking in public. When I was in the fourth grade, I helped MC this conference in Washington D.C. So that's just never been a fear of mine. I mean, of course I get nervous, but it's not to the point where I'm like, oh, I can't do that. It's like, no, I thrive on that, and that's really something that I'm quite good at, and I don't have a problem doing. And not only that, but I'll also like, I, I like to debate, and I like to, really just talk in general. I just like speech. I like to listen to other people talk. I like all facets of language, mine and the other languages that there are. Like when I was learning German, I got quite into that as well, which goes back to the passion thing. But I just think language in general is something that I'm quite good with, and that is a part of my personality, being very talkative and getting along with people because of it. Although there are other people, of course, I don't get along with, but we have quite interesting arguments, so that's good. The third thing that I'll talk about is, I guess you could say it's kind of connected to being a big talker and being quite passionate, is that I'm quite empathetic as well. And I don't always use that as much as I should, or as well as I should, or I don't use it in a way that's nice all the time, which is not good. Mostly with my brother, but it's just because we're related and siblings and it. But anyway, but yes, I'm quite empathetic. Like for example, what I mean by that is like if there's somebody putting on a presentation or something and it's kind of dry or kind of boring or whatever, I'm the person who I'll pay attention to the point where I will ask questions and and be interested to know the answer. And I just like, because it's relieving to them, because I know that if I was giving a presentation and nobody cared, I would be I'd be quite crushed, because it would just seem like, I mean, nobody wants to be boring. So whenever we have presentations like that, and they always ask at the end, does anybody have any questions? I always have something prepared, because I think that makes people feel good, like they've connected with you. And I'll end up getting in conversations with these people at the end, and I feel a little bit bad because I know that they're thinking that I'm gonna join whatever it is that they were talking about, and I won't. But at that moment, I know I'm making them happy to be talking to them, and they've got somebody who's interested, and I learn about a little bit about whatever it is that they were talking about in the first place. Like when Chrysler came to talk to our school, some representatives from Chrysler, nobody really cared and nobody was really listening. They were just happy to be out of class, and to be perfectly honest, I wasn't that interested either, but I still learned quite a lot about it and about the design and stuff, so that was actually interesting. So I just use those as excuses to learn about stuff that you wouldn't normally learn about. Um, and I'm also helping make them feel good because I know that nobody's really listening to them and they don't have any questions, and that's just awkward at the end to have them just standing up there like, does anybody have any questions? And nobody does because nobody cared, and then they're just like, oh, well, yay. So yes, I can be quite empathetic, and I usually know what's wrong with people, and if they're people that I care about, then I'll definitely be able, I figure I know how to console them or to leave them alone or whatever, so that's something I'm quite good at as well. The next thing I was going to talk about is that I consider myself quite unsinkable. Um, my mom actually compares it to the unsinkable Molly Brown from the Titanic, which is ironic because I was quite a Titanic. Oh, not fanatic, but I was passionate about it. No, but and basically what take that to mean is that there's no real situation that even if it's a really really low point, it never like keeps me down to the point where I stay depressed about anything, or that I can't bounce back from anything. I bounce back very easily. Like I'll be very down and I'll be very crushed, but I'll feel the emotion very strongly and then I'll get over it and I'll move on. And I never stay upset about them for very long, which just leads me to the last thing that I was going to talk about is I don't stay mad for very long, and I consider that being different than being unsinkable because anger is, I don't know, I just consider them very differently because I never get very very angry. Um, I do get very very upset about things, but as I said, I bounce back from them. But then with anger, I don't know, like I get into confrontations with people, but I never get to the point where I've really completely lost control of myself. Well, very often that has happened to me before, but very, very, very rarely. And then I always get over it very fast as well. Like I never stay mad at people unnecessarily. It just is not in my personality. I'm not even gonna say because it's a waste of energy or whatever. I wouldn't even know. I don't stay mad a lot and long enough to know what that kind of long-term effect would be. And I suppose some people would call that passive aggressive, but I'm just not an angry person, or I don't even get into arguments with people very often. I mean, okay, about any given topic, yeah, I might get into an argument, but it's not like about some moral dilemma or like the dishes or something simple like that. It's hopefully about something slightly more important than that. So, but yeah, no, I don't get angry very easily, nor do I stay angry very long. As soon as I'm out of the situation, kind of all water under the bridge as far as I'm concerned. So yeah. So yes, those are the 5 things that I consider strengths that I have, and yes, so those are my 5 strengths. I'm interested to hear yours, and until I see you next time, I love you, and bye-bye.